Hey Scorpio, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica and this is your April 2019 Astrology and Tarot forecast. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. While I'm shuffling the cards, I want to remind you this is a general reading for my Scorpio Sun, Moon, and Rising. The astrological placements are for Scorpio Rising, but you will feel it nonetheless if you have your Sun, your Moon, or Ascendant there. On the 5th of the month, we have a new moon at 15 degrees of Aries in your 6th house. The 6th house is traditionally ruled by Virgo, and it is the house of your work and your health, your competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It's your daily routine and could also speak to your pets. The fact that there's a new moon in this area gives you an opportunity to reflect on what you are liking and not liking in that 6th house and giving you a new moon seed to now make a change with an intention. On the 10th of the month, we have Jupiter, the planet of increase, expansion, and excess, going retrograde in Sagittarius. This is your 2nd house, and this will be occurring until October. I said it in the last video too. It's August, not October. I'm still filming this under the influence of Mercury retrograde, and I'm becoming a little tongue-tied, so pardon me. Jupiter will be retrograde until August 11th, 2019, and this is occurring in your 2nd house. 2nd house is the house traditionally ruled by Taurus. It's the house of your money, love, values, earning ability, self-esteem, and possessions. All the retrograde motions allow for reflection and retrospect, and hopefully to give you a better view of the situation at hand to where you can do or make better decisions for yourself once Jupiter goes direct in August. So on the 10th of the month as well, we have the Sun in Aries squaring Saturn in Capricorn. This is a difficult aspect. It feels like a choice between the placements in the 6th house and the 3rd house. 6th house, again, the house of work, health, competency, and skills you bring to the services that you provide, your daily routine, daily agenda, and your pets. Squared by the 3rd house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, your vehicles, the commute, the way that you commute to and from. Also your communication devices and the way that you communicate. Also the way that you are being understood and the way that you understand people. So it could be that there's some miscommunication going on for you because of this. And that energy is going to be resonant throughout at least that week, because on the 13th we have the Sun in Aries squaring Pluto in Capricorn. Again, the same areas of life, that 6th house and the 3rd house, the tug of war that is being presented between those two areas of life. On the 17th of the month, we have Mercury, the planet of thought, movement, and communication, moving into Aries. This is as well your 6th house, giving you an opportunity to actually do some communication now, effective communication in the 6th house to help with any sort of miscommunication that may have occurred during March because of Mercury being retrograde at the very end of Pisces. Now that Mercury is moving into Aries, it's a completely different sign, completely different energy, and it will be a completely different energetic message you are sending as well in that 6th house of work and health. Now on the 19th of the month, we have a full moon at 29 degrees of Libra. This is the first full moon that we have had that has not been 0 degrees since December 2018 or at Christmas time. I think it's been 5 full moons. Yeah. So this full moon occurring in Libra is happening in the 12th house. The full moons illuminate things, and it's not surprising to feel a little more emotional around the full moons. The fact that it's happening in the 12th house, it could be that what's going on is a subconscious understanding or something that comes to you through the dream space as opposed to being overtly apparent, because the 12th house rules the nebulous dream space, illusion, delusion, hidden things. It's also a house of secrets and karma. I like to think of the 12th house as being on the surface of the water in a boat and trying to look at the bottom of the water, the lake, the ocean, the river, whatever, trying to look at the bottom from the surface. It's not going to be possible in more places than not. So it's hard to see. The full moon being there could be just subconscious emotions are making an appearance in your world, and you could be feeling extra emotional and could be moving out of a self-sabotage kind of energy. You could be self-sabotaging and not knowing it, and maybe recognizing it now that the full moon has brought some awareness to that area of life. On the 20th of the month, we have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, harmony, and resources, moving into Aries, where there is a planetary party going on in that 6th house of work and health, competencies, skills, and services that you provide. It's your daily routine, your daily agenda. It is your self-care. It is your health. It is also dealing with like your pets. Venus moving in that area of life can also help you smooth out any sort of static that has arisen throughout the month. On the same day, we have the sun moving into Taurus. This is your 7th house, and it is Taurus season at this point. So the sun moving into Taurus is the 7th house, traditionally ruled by Libra, and it's the house of open partnership, collaboration, open litigation, open beef, and open enemies. On the 22nd, we have the sun newly moved into Taurus, conjuncting Uranus newly moved into Taurus in the 7th house. This is the house of the other. These are the people that you deal with on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, but it can include it. But it deals with people that you have close relationship to, partnerships and open collaboration, also dealing with open enemies, open beef, open litigation, and those sorts of things. It could be coming from the internet in one way or another because of the Uranian aspect added to it. Uranus rules the internet and social media and the like. I see it coming from there more often than not. But if that isn't the case, then it is something that is coming out of left field and you are completely unaware or it's an unexpected, unanticipated thing. On the 24th of the month, we have Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn until October 3rd of 2019. And this is occurring in your 3rd house. Pluto is the planet that represents like the unconscious or subconscious. It's the shadow side. It's also very hidden. It can be the dark underbelly as well. In that 3rd house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, your neighborhood, also dealing with your phones and your devices, communication and commute. Pluto being there gives you the shadow side reflection of what is going on, and it will be tied to or could be reflecting it upon what had happened earlier in the month at the 10th and the 13th, because Pluto deals with the shadow, and Saturn deals with authority figures and the boundaries and the borders, the rules. On the 27th of the month, we have Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. This is a square happening between your 8th and your 5th house. The 8th house is traditionally ruled by you, Scorpio, and this is the blood and guts of it all. It's really life, death, and rebirth, major transformation, dramatic rebirth, dramatic metamorphosis. It's intimate issues. It's the things you wouldn't talk about at the dinner table. Debt, sexuality, money owed, money coming in, that sort of stuff, squaring the 5th house of your creativity and romance, possibly your children or your childhood, also dealing with your social life. And these are people in your close social circle, not the thousands of friends you would have on social media, but these are the people that you meet up with and go out to eat with or have over for celebrations, that sort of thing. So there's a tug of war in that area of life. On the 30th of the month, we have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn, right along with Pluto. And this will be occurring until September 19th of this year. 3rd house again, short distance trips, communication, commute, communication devices, the way that you think and interpret, the way that people interpret and hear you, dealing with vehicles, dealing with communication, Saturn going retrograde in that third house is asking you to look at the structure, look at the borders, look at the boundaries, look at the authority figures in that situation and do it by the book. So that's what's going on. I've pulled some cards for you, and let's talk about that. The bottom card, representing the underlying theme or overarching energy, is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is associated with being an authority figure, and this individual is usually represented by a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So this could be you or somebody very close to you. But this deals with the emotional realm and emotional validation and emotional fulfillment. This king is hopefully an emotionally balanced individual, but they are prone to escapism with the two cups in the hands. I know this is a scepter, but it looks like a long goblet, like a wine glass or something. I see it like double fisting the cups. For a few of you, this may be actually involving a Pisces because the fish are standing out quite strong to me. The fish drawings in the card, and they normally don't. So, forewarned is forearmed. In the top three for clarity, we have the Eight of Pentacles. The number 8 is associated with the theme of change and the 8th house on the astrological wheel that you happen to rule. The 8th house is the house of other people's money. It's the house of scholarship, loans, inheritance, insurance payouts, taxes, all of those types of things. It's also life, death, and rebirth. It's also intimate issues and sexuality. The Pentacles deal with earth signs. That can be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And this 8 of Pentacles deals with being engaged in your education or being engaged in the process of manifestation, engaged in the process of doing your work and processing your to-do list as efficiently as you can. Now, there's only one Pentacle that's actually done, and there's many more to do. It could be a long bullet list of things to do or being discussed in one way or another. Or it could be that you're like looking at your finances and wanting to get it together. And by doing that, it's initiating a lot of the energy that's playing out in that 6th house dealing with work and health. But this card is also about speaking to earning more feathers in your cap and adding to the competencies and skills to the services that you do provide. Second card in the top three for clarity is the Queen of Swords. The Queens are known as influential individuals or energetic sources. The swords are tied to the air signs or representative of. That is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It could very well be that this is speaking to the full moon being in Libra, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's just one signifier that it could be. The Queen of Swords is known for her reasoning and logic ability. She's a problem solver. She uses her words and she balances her emotions and her logic to make decisions. She is a quick and perceptive thinker. She is not afraid to defend if she needs to. She would rather use her words. Doesn't have to be a female, but representative in the Queen. It's feminine energy, receptive energy. The final card in the top three for clarity that I cannot hold is the Five of Swords, looking back on this Queen of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. Has his back turned to the King of Cups as well. 5 is a number that deals with the theme of change or adversity. Well, it deals with adversity. Number 8 is change. The Swords, again, air sign energy, dealing with reason, thought, and logic. This Five of Swords deals with conflict, tension, and defeat, and it could be that there is some sort of tension between you and maybe a group of people, or between a group of people and an individual that feels like they may be being singled out. I really feel like it's all in this person's head, that it's not necessarily that they're being singled out. It's more extenuating circumstances that they either refuse to see or are blinding themselves to or blinded to. If it's not the conflict or the tension, then it is defeat. And it's defeat in an issue that is, it's a mind matter. It could be that it's a disagreement about money in one way or another, or resources, time owed, money owed, resources, energy owed. and one person feels as though they've been slighted or aren't seeing it properly. These two swords, I do want to also point out there's clouds in it, so it's like not all of the details are known. It could be that this is, April is now a good time to confront the conflict or the tension that has arisen during the Mercury retrograde in Pisces, because I did say that for some of you it was a strong Pisces connection. We've got the fish down here, and he's wearing a necklace with a fish amulet as well. Those were the fish that were standing out to me when I said that it could be a Pisces. And the Pisces could come from your social circle or the people that you hang out with on a regular basis that you would consider friend. It's either them having the problem with you or you having the problem with them in that specific instance. Now, moving on to the Lenormand deck. The Lenormand deck is about half the size of the tarot deck. I use it to help give more information on the tarot cards that were pulled. It is a rather salty deck, so don't shoot the messenger. The bottom of the deck read the lilies. And the lilies are the 30th card of the Lenormand deck. 3 plus 0 is 3, speaking to that third house where you are having a lot of stuff going on. Saturn and Pluto are being squared by the Sun in Aries. So looking at the shadow side, looking at the unconscious, the subconscious, the dark underbelly, and then looking at authority figures, looking at boundaries, looking at borders, and looking at the rules of it. The Sun in Aries is shining light on that situation in the third house. The lilies represent purity, sexuality, and retirement. Other people's money. That 8th house endeavor that was brought up towards the end of the month, where Mars is in Gemini squaring that Neptune in Pisces, another Piscean significator being brought up. Another thing we can look to is the King of Spades. That would be, the spades are swords in the tarot deck, so that would be the King of Swords. That would be an authority figure who is an intellectual individual who is clear thinking and able to cut to the heart of the matter. Also very logical and uses the ability to reason to back their rhetoric or their argumentation. And the top of the deck was the Tower card. Now, the Tower card does not read the same in the Lenormand deck as it does in the tarot deck, so don't freak out. But this card is the 19th card of the deck. 1 plus 9 is 10, speaking to the 10th house. There isn't any 10th house energy going on, but the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, and that's that third house that has been talked about repeatedly, especially with the 6th house in that square. So the Tower deals with a building, a home. It deals with isolation. It deals with being organized or organizing a building. It could be like finding a place for this lily situation. Finding a, like, it's almost like some of you want to detox or purify your space. And that can be your work life or your home life or like your personal life. It can be your actual body as well. Some of you are wanting to purify the body. Some of you are wanting to purify the mind. For some of you, it's that you're wanting to get away for a means of like a sexual rendezvous. And that's also very represented in that 8th and 5th square. It's like a secret rendezvous possibly for some people. And for others, it's dealing with like isolating oneself, trying to build up their nest for retirement, or feeling as though they need to build their nest up for retirement's sake and defending that retirement against someone, or defending that sexual liaison against an attack, something like that. There's a defense that needs to happen. Another delineator we can take is the 6 of Spades. Again, the spades are swords. So the 6 of Swords is dealing with moving through choppy waters. And it could be that you are moving through choppy waters to get to the other side. It could be that you are at a temporary landing spot waiting to move to, big finger quote, the promised land or your dream space. It could be that some of you are coming out of a self-imposed isolation and want to start being a little bit more active. The number 6 deals with the theme of growth, and growth is tied to growing pains. You cannot have one without the other. And we have the Frog Spirit card that fell for you from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. This is the 28th card of the deck. 2 plus 8 is 10. That speaks to that 10th house of Capricorn, where we have Saturn and Pluto being squared by the Sun in Aries, and then Saturn and Pluto going retrograde. The South Node is also there, and when you think of the South Node, think of it as flushing a toilet to remove the purge, the gross, the sick, the sludge, the poison, whatever it is. The South Node is that vacuum to pull it out, down, away. If the North Node is as high as the soul is trying to go in this lifetime, then the South Node is from the past and needs to be pulled down and away, is the way that I've understood it and learned it. Frog Spirit implores that you clear out the clutter. 6th house is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo does enjoy a tidy space. And it's not for the sake of making anybody's life difficult. It's actually for the efficiency that the tidiness can bring. Now, I'm reading for you the Oracle Spirit message and the Protective message. The Oracle Spirit message is, Frog Spirit knows while all the other frogs are croaking away, this is a time for you to simplify and declutter your life so that you can feel content on your own lily pad, even when life isn't creating a total cacophony. I believe I pronounced that right. We can become drawn to the excitement of lots of noise. Then the next thing we know, our schedules and homes are cluttered with commitments we regret making and objects taking up valuable space. Even relationships sometimes need decluttering, as they often become messy. Frog Spirit appears to tell you to clean house, prioritize what you need, and get rid of or give away the rest, so you can have some space in your day and in your head. You don't need the old stuff and its stories shouting at you from the past. Along with the physical clutter, friendships are also sometimes kept long past their expiration date, weighing you down with unnecessary baggage. Now is the time for you to let go. Whatever you need will appear when you need it. So release your grip on all that clutter that is making you feel anxious and burdened. Frog Spirit wants you to reclaim your space, unencumbered by shoulds, oughts, and could-have beens. Let go and jump. You are free from all of that old stuff. The Protective message is, what's weighing you down? Is it time for a spiritual and psychic cleansing? Are you overdue for letting go of the voices that surround you? They may have started to get into your head. These voices that bog you down and keep you from leaping forward into a better situation. Let others croak and create their dramas while you make space for yourself and for hearing your own thoughts as they arise. Declutter your schedule and stop trying to do it all and then some. Let others manage their own baggage rather than allowing it to be dumped onto you, for your lily pad needs to be clear of others' clutter. Frog Spirit may also come bearing a message about your physical space. Do you hold on to things because you are afraid of losing your energetic connection to the past, to people who are no longer in your life, or to goals that you never pursued? You could have these items around because you would feel guilty if you got rid of them. Are your storage and living spaces stuffed with reminders of what you are not, when they should be holding only objects that reflect who you are and aspire to be? If something is no longer making you feel joyful, empowered, and excited, then Frog Spirit is telling you to let it go and to free yourself to leap forward into something new, trusting that you will always have exactly what you need. Wow, Scorpio. That's a difficult request. I have a Scorpio ascendant, so I understand that letting go of anything is difficult, especially being a part of the fixed modality, but Frog Spirit is imploring that you do that to make space for yourself, to make space for your thoughts, and to make space for new things to come in and find you. Nature abhors a void. So if you remove the things that no longer serve you now, it will make space for things that will help to grow you in beautiful ways down the road. I hope you enjoyed this reading, Scorpio. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I am sending you a lot of love, and I do hope that you're well. And I want you to be kind to yourself, and please be kind to others, because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. Take care, and I'll see you soon. I love y'all. Bye.